Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ben Ash, and we are here yet again with another Sam Ash Music live stream. Today, we are back with our friends from Yamaha. We're going to take things a little differently, something that's more of my wheelhouse. We're going to talk about Yamaha guitars, and not just any specific brand of Yamaha guitars, but just Yamaha guitars. We're going to talk about the history about Yamaha, their acoustics, their nylons, their basses, their electrics, what have you. If it's got six or more strings in some cases, or even four strings, we're going to talk about it. And we want you guys to ask questions. We want you guys to be part of the chat. Feel free to ask us anything because I'm about to introduce our guest who knows pretty much everything there is to know about Yamaha guitars, and he's willing to answer any and all of your questions. So let's bring him on. This is my good friend, Andy Winston. What's going on, man?
What's up, Ben? How are you?
Doing well. It's a good Tuesday afternoon. I almost said morning. Wow. Shows where I am.
Wednesday afternoon.
See,
right?
I've lost track of days. Ever
my
since
Lord.
that weird thing that happened globally a couple of years ago almost. So yes, it is Wednesday afternoon,
Yes.
but I'm gonna bring it all back. I can't even talk. Wow, today is not my day. But we're gonna have a great live stream anyway. My apologies. This is already gonna be a fun one. So like I said, Andy Winston's been with Yamaha how many years now?
I'm into my 7th year. So, and what a marvelous company to work for. You know about that, but continue your flowery introduction of me.
Yeah, no, of course. So Andy has been with. If you haven't seen Andy with any of our live streams before, you're in for a treat. He has been part of, as you said, part of the Yamaha team for 7 years. He actually was with Sam Ash and Samson at different iterations. So if you know that both of those companies, you may have seen Andy in the past. So we've known him for quite some time. He's part of the family. He might as well be Andy Winston Ash in parentheses. He's part of
Oh,
our family. And
that
we
can
still get
happen.
and what's great is we still get to work with him because he's part of Yamaha, and we love our friends at Yamaha, and that's why we've done so many live streams with you guys and hope to do more. And for me, as much as I love the Yamaha live streams, I always look way more forward to the guitar ones only because I can actually offer some insight and input as a guitar player. Mostly I am just the person who politely listens and learns. Now I get to
Yep.
expound hopefully some wisdom. So this is going to be a fun one. But let's enough about me. This is more your show. Let's talk about Yamaha guitars. So for those that have never seen a Sam Ash live stream or a Yamaha live stream, or don't even know about Yamaha in any respect, what makes Yamaha guitars so special? What is the story behind it?
Ben, we'll kind of rehash a little bit of our Yamaha history and kind of what makes Yamaha still kind of a forerunner and forward thinking in guitars and basses, as well as in all the other stuff we manufacture. That I know you guys spent time with Harach last week on DGX 660, the new keyboard that's coming out. So what we want to do today is we just want to share a little bit of the guitar love from the guitar and bass side of things at Yamaha, and tell you a little bit about the history of Yamaha music, right? And how guitars came into play and everything that's going on with us. We'll get into some product, right? We'll get into the beautiful A5M handmade in Hamamatsu, Japan, but affordable. We're going to talk all about this stuff. But I think, Ben, a lot of people don't realize that Yamaha started as a music company. It was 1887 when Mr. Torakusu Yamaha repaired a neighbor's reed organ in Japan. Well, a foot pump reed organ, right? So it was a little keyboard that sat on your desktop. What happened then is that was the first Yamaha product. That was the first product that we released in 1887. So it's always been music, right? The motor stuff, the motorcycles, the watercraft and all the other stuff didn't come along until the 1950s, right? So that was a kind of a post World War II sort of thing. So remember, we're a music company. That's what our DNA is all about. But remember, Yamaha Guitars history goes back to about 1959 when in Japan they released a nylon string under the name Dynamic. And that was the first Yamaha guitar. While it wasn't it was made by Yamaha, but wasn't branded as such. It was branded as Dynamic. Really nice nylon string. 1966, things start to change a little bit. Yamaha starts to bring guitars into America and starts to bring electric guitars into America as well. So, electric guitars we've been doing since about 1964. And a lot of people don't realize that lineage and DNA that goes back. And what we can do is we can actually tie in some of the products that are on the wall back here with a little bit of stuff from our Yamaha history book. So we'll interconnect a lot of that stuff coming up. So just to share with your viewers, Ben, is that DNA is we're a music company. You know, we're a music company that builds very cool motorcraft as well. So music is our DNA. 1966, Guitars into America, that famous Woodstock photo, and then all of the celebrity endorsees that played Yamaha through the 70s and 80s, from Carlos Santana to John Denver to Bob Dylan to Dan Fogelberg to today's artists like Billy Sheehan, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, Jeff Schroeder from Smashing Pumpkins. It's amazing that people will come to Yamaha and play our stuff. And we're talking some big, big names. And if you know a little bit about our company, is we don't recruit. You know, we don't go looking for that. People come to us and say, I love my Yamaha guitar. I'm looking in the side chat here and I see FG830. I see a 1974 FG160 from Robert Mays. That's the cool stuff that a lot of us kind of grew up with, and that you can still go out and find it and build your collection of Yamaha. When we first met Butch Walker about 5 years ago, when we came out with the FG180 50th anniversary guitar, Butch comes up to us and goes, I've got the original in my studio. We recorded Ryan Adams and other artists using that old vintage Yamaha. So that's what's the cool thing about it. So the music is in the DNA. So using that history has kind of been our guidepost for what we got coming up here in the future. The 10-year roadmap is chock full of new and interesting things. And while I can't let any cats out of the bag here today, all I can do is say is this upcoming generation for Yamaha is going to be pretty darn special. But a lot of people didn't know, Ben, that we're a music company. We started there. It's always going to be who we are, no matter the successes we have in other industries. We're a guitar company. We're a piano company. We're a technology company as well. So thanks for the time to be able to share that with everybody. And I'm monitoring this chat over here. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Yamaha fans in here, and
I
hopefully
love it.
if Yamaha was a cult, Andy would probably be the leader asking everyone to drink the Kool-Aid, but thank goodness that's not happening. But there are clearly a lot of fans of Yamaha, which is wonderful. And what's great is if you love Yamaha, they probably make some kind of musical equipment for whatever you're looking for in any department. Truly, we were just saying before, if you go to a Sam Ash music store and you walk in any department of the store, or you go on our website and you go to any department, there's probably some kind of Yamaha product. And on top of that, there's something in your price range. And on top of that, whatever you're buying, chances are you're going to fall in love with it. I mean, I have two Yamaha products here. I've got a Yamaha Nylon, I've got a Yamaha Pacifico Electric. We're going to ignore that guitar because it just happens to be hanging on the wall, but I didn't want it to be an empty hook. But let's focus on these two.
So
But
you're talking a little bit about, as kind of the leader of the pack here, about the pride that we have for the product. My own story was that I wanted to be in Black Sabbath, right? Early 1970s. I was the kid that was growing out his hair, that was skateboarding and bicycle motocross, and then had hand-me-down guitars, right? Somebody in the neighborhood gave me a Kent, and then somebody gave me a St. George with a bent neck and big strings off the fretboard. Somebody gave me a Kalamazoo, which was getting better, right? So my mom knew that I wanted to do this. Long hair, big bell bottoms, right? This was
I've seen the photo. I've literally seen that photo.
1976. My mom took me to a local store that's no longer there in Orange County, California, called Sight Singer Music. And she said, we're going to get you a real guitar. And my first real guitar was a Yamaha FG75. Honest to
Very
God.
cool.
Woo! Yeah. So it's one of those things that it's in. You say it's in the DNA. I've owned so much of it over the years that but even before I came to work for Yamaha, I was always playing it and was always working on it, was always mixing on it, and was always recording with it, and always had friends that were playing it. And the amps from the '70s through the '80s, it was Yamaha was always there. So it's great to now be able to kind of be the leader of the charge of being able to come into your stores, right? And everybody, if you don't know what my gig is, that's a technical sales specialist is I travel. I do these sort of things, but I get I get off on going into Sam Ash stores and training Ben's salespeople how to be better people, how to be better salespeople, how to talk the gift of music, how to inspire somebody at my age to have a room full of guitars, to be getting paid from a great company to talk about guitars and how they can actually have careers within this industry. So that's where I get to give back what I received so generously over the course of my career. Is I love going into your Ash stores. I love training the guys. I love seeing them. I love talking to customers
And we
and,
appreciate it.
and showing a Transacoustic if they've never seen it, and watching the eyes bug out and watching that reaction and all of that stuff that comes along with the joy that I had when I was actually a salesperson and turning people on to cool gear. So
But
I
besides,
love it. And
so about the
so,
Transacoustic though, I just wanted to bring it
yeah,
up. If you guys haven't actually played one, what's cool about it is it plays and sounds great as an acoustic guitar. If you don't even use the super cool features, does that happen for one or no?
yeah. So this is an FGTA. This is available at all Sam Ash stores and at samash.com.
You bet.
It is solid Sitka spruce. It is 3-ply laminate mahogany back and sides. Now, what we do with our woods, remember, we're Yamaha. We're going to do everything a little bit better. 3 plies of mahogany. There is no MDF or no filler in between those 2 plies of woods, right? So,
So to stop you
three
there
ply.
just for a second, because for
Go.
you and I, we get this. But for those that don't understand,
Yeah.
some
It's
companies,
going
I'm
to
not
need,
here to say who or judge, and it could be cost cutting, it could actually be for the durability, what have you. But what's interesting about Yamaha is they wanted to make a lot of traditional acoustic guitars, it's just mahogany. That's the wood they used, only wood they used. And if they had some to spare, they would make it. That's why a lot of vintage guitars people covet because of the quality of the build and the wood they used.
yep.
Yamaha said, "We don't care. It's 2021. Let's keep doing this." So if you play them, they not only feel like 3-ply mahogany, if you know what that feels like, but it has a richer mahogany type tone that comes from electrics or acoustics.
Yeah, we'll never disparage one of our competitors, but we know that there's some people will put MDF or they'll put something in between those plies, but we don't want to play that. But I don't want to get bogged down in the details because you and I will go down that rabbit hole, and we've got too many people online. So solid spruce, scallop bracing underneath. So the cool thing about the guitar, and you're hearing it through my earbuds. I don't even have a direct line hooked up here or anything. Rich, everything that you need out of an acoustic guitar, right? So
Right.
here's the first, right? Then all I've got to do is press a little magic button,
This is cool,
and
guys.
what we're going to do now is we're going to get. Do you hear the reverb? All of that reverb that you're hearing is coming out of the guitar without it being plugged into anything. So I
Really
can
cool for campfire gigs, cool for hanging with your friends.
You beat me to the punch. In my backyard, when it's below 100 degrees out here in the desert, I will go sit in the backyard, but take this guitar with me and turn on that reverb and get an effect that I would normally have to plug into an amplifier or to a PA system to get. But now this effect follows me everywhere.
So here's something interesting. I'm gonna call them out. No offense, Rich,
Yep.
but Rich goes sarcastically, "Oh, it's one of those guitars out of my price range." Now, first of all, let's start with one thing. If you don't mind me asking, how much is that guitar you're holding, give or take?
Well, what I want you to do, can you? And I don't know if you can do it on the secondary screen. Can you pull up the store website?
I absolutely can. We're
Yeah,
on it.
let's.
What am I looking up?
You're going to look up FGTA. I just want to make sure that we're quoting proper prices.
Fair enough. No assumptions
Now,
needed to be made.
now remember, this is two guitars, right? It's one guitar before you turn all of that extra magic. Oh, besides the reverb, hold on. It's got chorus.
Get those 80s sounds out of that.
Effects will come down the cable when plugged in, but the magic is I am untethered. I am untethered. $679 at samash.com. Thanks, Bruce Z. Two
Here.
guitars for the price of one. It's
So Rich
unbelievable.
is probably either yeah, he goes, "It isn't. Dang it, you beat me. I thought it was 1,000. It is 680-ish." So there you go. He was truly concerned it would be wow. And that look, if that doesn't show the quality of a Yamaha guitar, I don't know what does because he thought it was so cool it had to be out of his price range. He looks online and, "Oh, I can actually afford this." And not to mention, if if for whatever reason you still think that's out of your price range, should you get the Sam Ash Music here, let's zoom in a little bit. Should you
But
wanna get the Sam Ash Music, credit card with the financing, it's just $28 a month. And people are always saying like, "Oh, maybe that's too much." It's like, guys, if you can afford a Disney Plus, an Amazon Prime, Spotify, Netflix,
yeah,
Hulu, ESPN, and all those other things, I'm not here to say how to spend your money, but we all have our priorities. I'm a guitar player, so my priorities are going to be in music gear,
yeah.
much to my wife's dismay because I'm sure she goes, "Well, I need to watch my TV shows." We negotiate and she I love her to death and so she understands when I'm saving up for a guitar. And yes, Benjamin Ash of Sam Ash Music, I do purchase gear, believe it or not. That might actually seem strange, but I actually do pay for things. And some people will be like, "Why do you do that?" I'm not here to go back and forth on that. We're here to talk about Yamaha. That could be
Hey,
for a different stream where I
I
rant and
want
rave
to
about the life of being Benjamin Ash.
the trials and tribulations
I
of youth.
know. Such
Hey, I
first
want to
world
talk to Rich.
problems.
I want to talk to Rich Johnson real quick.
Sure.
Thanks for pointing out that you don't think you could afford the FGTA. We wanted to keep that kind of price in check, and we can kind of do that with that solid over laminate building construction. But we make a few different versions of this as well. If you want, we can go solid Engelmann spruce from Europe. We can go solid rosewood back and sides, and ebony board and ebony bridge, and be it an LLTA. So we do make it out of our L series as well. We also make it in the Parlor series, right?
Ooh.
CSFTA. That's my little blues guitar around the house when I want to sit around and cry about my life. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
get
cool.
that.
And then we
I was gonna say
and
it's
then
like
we
that Robert Johnson kind of thing.
and then we all yeah, exactly, so that I can get that kind of swampy sound with the reverb, maybe a little bit of chorus. We'll get a little
Ooh.
or that.
Yeah, you get some like Jackson Brown type stuff going out of that.
Transacoustic, right? You hear the reverb. I'm not plugged into a root and toot and thing. Also in a nylon string. So if you're a classical player, that chorus that we put in the transacoustic is so special on the nylon string. That's kind of why I think it was invented. So transacoustic technology, if you're a Martin or Taylor guy or you've got a lot of fancy stuff in your collection, buy one of these because none of your stuff will do this. Right. And then you can buy a fancy all solid wood one if you want to.
And if they do, you know where they got the idea from.
Yes.
So What's interesting, oh, by the way, I meant to mention, so you were saying that Yamaha started as a music company. Fun
Yeah.
fact, I may have mentioned this in a private stream, but if you look at the logo, you can even see it in the top of it should be in the top right of your screen.
Yep.
That circle with that weird icon is actually 3 tuning forks. So they really have been a music company since they started, and their first logo was tuning forks in that formation. And so I'm sure there are people watching going, "Oh, what?" And yeah, just like Tim Allen would say.
And
Um,
here's your trivia: the difference between the music division logo and the motors. Does anybody know?
that I don't know.
They take the tuning forks on the motors logo and pierce the circle to look like motorcycle spokes. And the M
Oh,
and the
that is
M
so
in
cool.
Yamaha comes all the way down to the bottom line. So those are the two differences in the logos. That's some
That's
bar
awesome.
trivia
Even
for
Joe,
you
I
there.
knew it. Even Joe Brown is like, lol, never knew that. Never knew that. And I hope he was laughing out loud instead of like when we all type lol and we just go, and that's how we laugh. Anyway, another thing we should mention is Yamaha has also acquired certain brands over the years. They were
Yeah,
just Yamaha right out the gate, but over the years they've and made very smart acquisitions. This wasn't like, haha,
yeah.
we're stealing them from the market share. It's no, now they work in tandem with each other. And it's very smart of what they did. And those two of those brands are Line 6 and Ampeg. So maybe
Yep.
that's another fact that some of you didn't know was, oh my goodness, they're all part of the same family, which makes sense when, for example, certain Yamaha gear can work with the Line 6 wireless, both of which available at Sam Ash Music. So it's cool stuff. So you can, what's crazy, and I always love talking about this with you because I'm a Disney nerd. But if you
Yeah.
go to Disney World or Disneyland,
Yeah.
mostly Disneyland, I can't for certain say it's Disney World as well, but it could be the whole Disney family. Every time you see a musician, there's a very good chance they're playing either a Yamaha product, a Line 6 product, and or an Ampeg product.
Thanks for bringing that up, Ben. Yeah, Disneyland has been a great partner of Yamaha for good a dozen, 15 years now. Is when you go into the park and you see the street strolling musicians and they're playing clarinets or horns or whatever like that. Chances are they're Yamaha. If they're beating on a bass drum on the Main Street Parade, chances are it's a
Right, you guys
Yamaha
have
product. So,
marching band gear. I keep forgetting about that. Forgive me,
but
I played Yamaha sax. I'll say that. I had a Yamaha sax. I say had because I was a kid who did not respect the idea of an instrument at the time I was playing it. Nothing against Yamaha, solely me being irresponsible.
hey, but thanks for bringing up kind of that family of brands as we now have them, right? Um,
And ever
for,
growing, I would think.
hey, let's turn back the clock a few years. Late 1990s, Yamaha does digital modeling, right?
Right.
Yamaha was actually one of the first with the DG series of amplifiers, and there was a DG desktop product that was one of the kind of the first modeling products. Yamaha's got a big history of making bass amplifiers. The BT 500 from about 10 years ago was a great product, but we also know when we're kind of licked or beaten at our game, right? Line 6 was always that innovative company going back to, and my personal history is I worked for Line 6 maybe when I first met you, 1998, when we were both much younger.
Forgive me.
Uh,
Pause on that story just for 1 second. Rich, love to hear that. Can't wait. We're so glad that you are going to get this guitar. All because of this gentleman right here. So thank you, Andy. You convinced Rich to fall in love with this guitar, and lo and behold, we've got a Yamaha player in our midst. He has
and
one already. He's about to
yeah,
add another one.
FSTA with that smaller body, Rich, is great when you're laying on the couch not wanting to do a thing but play guitar.
So there you go. So thank you,
Yeah,
Rich,
well,
for being a Sam Ash customer, and thank you, Andy, for convincing Rich to get an awesome new guitar.
I hope the check is in the mail, Benjamin. I'm kidding. I'm
Technically,
kidding.
yes. Technically, yes. I just forgive me. I just wanted to pause because I wanted to really say thank
I
you to Rich
love that.
for
Thanks,
making that
Rich.
statement. So
So yeah,
continue, please.
Line 6 back in 1996 comes out with the first Access amp. I start working for Line 6 in 1998. I think that's when I first met Sammy and Richie and the rest of the Ash family. But there was always this history of innovation, right? Great products from the pod to the pedals to the spider amplifiers to the flex tone and all of that. Same with Ampeg, right? Ampeg's got a history going back to, I want to say it was 1949 when Everett Hull first put an electric peg in the bottom of an upright bass for
Right.
amplification, hence the amp peg. There's more bar trade. You
How
can
about
win a
that
bet on
story?
that thing. So they were always, the SVT was always that amplifier that we grew up knowing shook the walls. So when those opportunities came to kind of bring those into the fold, it made perfect sense to elevate Yamaha's position in the industry by recognizing and acknowledging the best in the industry. Line 6 is the best at what they do, and Ampeg is the best at what they do on the bass side of things. Let's bring them inside. Let's make it easier for our dealer network to be able to buy that product and sell that product and turn our customers onto that product. But it just made perfect sense at the time. So anytime you're at a NAM show or you want to drop some trivia on somebody and you see a Line 6 or Ampeg product, drop that little bit of knowledge that now Yamaha is the steward of the brands.
Right. It's so cool that I keep reiterating this, so forgive me if I'm becoming a broken record, but it's kinda cool that you could technically go to a Sam Ash Music and say, "I wanna set up my studio. Give me all of the Yamaha products you
Oh,
can give
yeah.
me." And we can technically say, "Sure, we'll set up every Yamaha Line 6 Ampeg product in your home." And
Yep.
there'll be a guitar, there'll be a mixer, there'll be headphones, there'll be basically everything Yamaha makes, and what's great is if you were to hypothetically get all Yamaha products, you wouldn't be like, "Well, okay, they're known for their this, but are they good with their blank?" And so, that's never a concern. Some other companies try to say they're the do-it-all company. They make these guitars and these basses and these drums and, like, crazy stuff, and sometimes, while they're really good at one thing,
Yep.
they're okay at something else, or we don't talk about the other thing they make, but they still wanna make it. And again, I'm not here to make name names at all. But Yamaha, which is why we love working with you guys, you have a price point for everything, and even at its lowest price point, you're still getting a quality instrument. And if you do spend a 4 or 5 digit amount on a product, you're still getting a killer product, whether it's a mixer or a drum kit or a guitar, it doesn't matter. You can get something great. Granted, we're talking about guitars, so I will try and bring it back into that discussion because most people who buy Yamaha may not know about the really expensive stellar stuff,
Yeah.
like some of the electrics and guitars you have, the basses and the nylon strings you can get are insane. They truly are amazing instruments, and granted, I don't have all of them because I wish I had a museum of instruments in my home. It's starting to become that, but,
Look at this.
I mean, you've got it all. You basically have a Yamaha museum, or at least a Yamaha display with as I look at it, every single category almost, you have it I see a hollow body, a solid body, an acoustic, a nylon, and,
I've got I've
a
got vintage
silent.
around here. I've got a vintage 12 string in the closet. I got another one in the living room because there's no more room for it. So I'm very blessed and very, very grateful for the job I get to do and who I get to do it with. But kind of steering it back to acoustic guitars, as I go around my floor here, um, a lot of us, and I write, continuing from my story earlier, is we start on Yamaha, right? Because you'll go if you're a parent, you take your child into a Sam Ash store. Chances are that Sam Ash sales representative knows the best guitar for that price point and for that customer. They do this every day. Every day they're putting new students and kids into instruments to get them on this path that Ben and I will be a lifetime of playing and in this industry because we love it, right? So they're really good at doing that. But a lot of times, after somebody plays for a while, the next guitar that they buy might not be a Yamaha.
Might not.
We're okay. I got a closet full of stuff. But as you work your way up the price points, is from 199 to 399 to 599, every guitar almost gets better and better as you step your way up the family tree. But we always say at Yamaha, we respect your paycheck. We're going to give you way more guitar than what you're paying for compared to some of our competitors.
Yeah, we've
And I
talked
think,
about this in a previous live
yeah,
stream, and it is true. When we were looking at all the features, I forgive me, I can't remember the exact model we discussed, but I'll be happy to link about it below because it is part and parcel of what we're talking about. Is that a Yamaha guitar for say, I don't know, $500 and it's and guitar X from whatever brand at 600. I'm not saying guitar brand X will be bad or good, but you're definitely not going to get necessarily the same amount as you will from the 600 or the $500 guitar from Yamaha. And
exactly. So,
I'm not here to say like whether or not that's true. Go to a Sam Ash Music and try and find a guitar at the same price point as the Yamaha, and just feature sets alone, tell me which has the bigger bang for your buck. Because and this is something everyone in the industry says is not every guitar is made for everybody, and even Yamaha gets that. That's why you have, whether it's different price points, different wood choices, different features, you try to make a diversified menu of options so that there is something if a guitar player does their research and wants a Yamaha guitar, which is great.
exactly. And what talk about is giving the customer, you know, people work hard. Life is expensive. It's hard to make sure that your bills are paid and still feed that guitar habit that we kind of all have. So what we think with Yamaha is we're going to give you more guitar than what that price tag says. While you're online, do you still have your store website up? Look
Do
up
I ever?
A5M, and I'm going to run down the feature set of this beautiful guitar. We talk about the step up instrument. How do I go from my beginning guitar to my next guitar or to my forever guitar, right? What we can do with the A5 series, when we get to the A5 series, we're getting into an all solid wood instrument, hand built in our custom shop in Hamamatsu, Japan. Okay, so now we're talking the real deal of what people know Yamaha to be. All solid wood, absolutely a beautiful, beautiful instrument. Scallop bracing underneath, brand new state of the art electronics called Atmosphere. Well, not on this guitar, but this guitar has microphone modeling and some other cool features. But this guitar, Ben, what's our price on this?
Not cheap, but
Oh,
worth every
look at
penny.
that. Now, if I'm not, once again, I'm not, I'll never talk bad about our competitors, but if you took that 1359 right there, or $57 a month on the Sam Ash card,
I like this guy. I knew he
if you
liked it for a reason.
if you took that 1359 and went around to any of the other manufacturers in their acoustic room, I don't think you would get the same amount of guitar. You might not get solid wood from some of the other manufacturers at that price point. It might be built in a secondary factory and not in their custom shop. So once again, with Yamaha, we can give you way more guitar than what you're paying for the price of some other people's secondary tier or third tier sort of instrument. So respecting your paycheck. God, and look at
So,
that. Just
okay,
stunning.
so I want to
Yeah.
address two quick things because I don't want people to be disappointed by the live stream. I'm always here to make sure that the watchers are having a good time. So, let me address two questions. First quick
Yes.
question, Joe Brown asks, "What's that blue one behind you?" And I don't know if that's just the reflection of the screen. I think he's talking about the solid Revstar, but I
Yeah.
think it's because it's reflecting off of your computer screen.
It's reflecting off the computer screen, Joe, and that is an RS702B for Bixby, right? What I did, being that I worked for this silly little company, is I changed out the pickup covers and the pick guard. So I put a black guard on there and I put black pickup covers on there. But it is the blue reflection of my room kind of leaning up against that.
You said it's the 702?
702B.
Okay, I'm just trying to find it on our site. I don't know if we have that model, funny enough. I mean, it's not hard for
Uh,
us to, like, to oh, you know why? It's because 'cause it's got the Bigsby bridge, so that's
yeah.
probably why. Well, we
Uh,
have the 7 oh, wait, are you sure it's not the 720?
720 is the white one behind the silent guitar. So 720 had humbuckers,
Okay.
702 had P90s.
So, for
I,
those that are I mean, this is the one you're pointing at, we don't have the other one, so I'm gonna show it on the screen, but this is the other one you have on your wall, and this happens to be the Sam Ash exclusive color, which
oh,
is
yeah.
ash gray. That's just simply a coincidence. When we heard it was an exclusive, we're like, "Of course we're gonna get something called ash gray for Sam Ash music." So, pretty cool guitar.
Sexy. There's
Definitely an eye catcher. I mean, very few times you're gonna see a guitar that looks like that on stage.
flame maple top, mahogany back and sides. For my Les Paul people, 24 and 3/4 inch scale length. So it's that Les Paul or Gibson type scale length. So if that's what you're used to playing, run down to a Sam Ash store and pick this guitar up because it's going to feel very, very comfortable. The P90 pickups, a little device down here on the tone control called the dry switch, which is kind of like a bass contour control. Jumbo frets, 13 and 3/4 inch radius, very comfortable, easy to bend strings on, and of course in the Ben Ash gray finish.
You know what? If I'm able to make a custom Yamaha, I will make a Ben Ash blank color. I don't know what color it'll be. Probably blue, but we'll figure it out. But someone's calling us out. That's fine.
Oh, that's
It's
fine.
not a bad one. It's a very easy thing to fix. He goes, Ken asks, says, I was hoping for more product info. This is brand sales. So, in all fairness, Ken, I mean, it's Sam Ash Music. If we're not trying to sell something, we're not doing our job. So, forgive me if we're being too hammy about it. But if you want more product info, we should talk about it. Also,
Tell
side
me.
note, Joe is saying, based on an accident, that blue reflection should be a color choice. So, thank goodness we're recording this. So if the Yamaha people are watching, maybe that kind of hue could be. And I honestly, I thought it looked cool just from that blue reflection. So who knows, Yamaha? I hope you're watching. Maybe you've got a really cool idea on your hands.
Joe, there's a Revstar guitar that comes in a finish called vintage Japanese denim. Ooh, if
Cool.
you want that,
I
if
just
you
like
want
the
that blue
title of
finish.
that.
Anybody ever seen one of these before?
So that color is transparent.
It doesn't. Somebody told me one time at a NAMM show, goes, it matches everything you wear.
Perfect.
Um, Coming up is the 10th anniversary of the silent guitar. Listen to it. Yeah, it does nothing. Right. The cool thing about this series, and a little bit of history on this, Yamaha has this a series of silent instruments. You can buy a silent horn, right? You can buy a device that plugs into the bell of your horn. We make a silent violin. We make a silent upright bass and cello. Okay. So the cool thing
Essentially, we
about
call it the "Don't Piss Off Your Neighbor" series of Yamaha products. So if you live in a small apartment with paper thin walls, probably makes sense to get a Yamaha Silent, whatever your instrument is. So if you're a and they work really well. It's kind of eerie and it's cool because not only does it mute it, but you can actually plug your headphones into them so you
yeah.
can hear how it's supposed to sound.
So let me see if I can get this. You can't kind of see. Cool preamp built into the side. This has built-in reverb and chorus, but like Ben said, it's got a headphone output on it, and it has an auxiliary input.
Cool.
Backing tracks on your phone, plug them into your guitar. Songs you're learning or playing along with, plug them into your guitar. A 1/4 inch output, which you can see right there, will get the signal down to the PA or to the mixing board. Other than that, it's absolutely silent. Okay, if you have to play acoustic guitar in a loud environment, right? Guy next to you plays like Ben does with a Marshall stack cranked up really loud. This will never feed back because there's no body for the sound to get trapped into. So good benefit there. If you're a church player, quiet off the stage, let the sound guy control everything, but I still got a little bit of, I can dial in my guitar as I see fit. Comes with the gig bag. Now, here's the kind of cool thing.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I take this little doohickey here and
For the
unscrew that,
traveling musician.
unscrew this here, and this top frame, which is solid rosewood, by the way, this top frame comes off. And the gig bag that we give you with it is about this size altogether.
So talk about easy to put on carry-on.
Fits in the overhead compartment of any major airlines.
Very cool.
Now,
So
Ben, here's where we're going to blow people's minds real quick.
do it
Can
up.
you look? Can you look this up on the website?
Can I ever?
And there's three different models, right? There's a steel string, which I have in my hot little hands, traditional 1.75 nut width. We make a traditional nylon string, right? So if you're the classical player and love this sort of sleek, modern art piece body style,
Which
two
model?
point, it's going to be SLG 200,
Okay.
traditional nylon, and then a narrower nylon. So if, let's say you're crossing over from steel string to that nylon string sound, but you don't necessarily want to have to battle the width of a classical neck, we make an intermediate nylon. So three different body types, four different colors, innovative. And this to me is that
Oh, look
perfect
at that. We even
combination.
have one used.
Nice. The perfect combination of the guitar guys, right? The guys in the wood shop, and then the guys in the white lab coats, right? We've got both in our company. So let's get them together to make products. Same with the Transacoustic, is that perfect marriage of the technology guys in the white lab coats and then our guys out in the wood shop that are making guitars. How do we put those two together to give you, the customer, a more innovative guitar experience? That is the Yamaha silent guitar.
So forgive me, everybody, if my audio is not syncing up with my video. Don't understand why that's happening. I apologize if that's the case. Hopefully, it's not too jarring. But I do want to continue on. Ken has been patiently wondering about the Mike Stern model. So
Yeah.
let's show him what we got with that. I just have to change our screen. So I wonder if that's because you're a Mike Stern fan or you've heard about it. Um, and
Yeah, man.
so
Yeah,
let's take
Mike
a
is,
look at it. I'm just gonna pull up the right
and,
screen. Do.
and Bruce is correct. I was in San Diego 2 weeks ago. They have a Mike Stern hanging on the wall. So,
And if you don't want the floor model, we still have it in stock in the box. So there it is.
and once again, everybody, Mike Stern, if you're not familiar with him, played with Miles Davis and some big jazz guys, but he's one of those kind of cats that very respected in his genre, but came to us and said, I've been playing this old guitar for a long time. Can we work together on it? So, this is a very unique guitar. Um, it's the only kind of guitar we make with a 7.25 inch radius because that's what Mike wanted. But boy, this is a special instrument. Now, the cool thing about this, though, is as Ben was showing you on the website, is that this guitar is actually physically in some Sam Ash stores. Our friend Bruce Z made a great deal with the Ash family to have 10 stores now to be kind of these premier Yamaha dealers where they're going to get the cream of the crop stuff. So you can find an SA 2200 or you could find this Mike Stern guitar. And I know that San Diego does have one.
And he's also a teacher at Berkeley. When I was there, I didn't get to learn from him, but everyone who had something to say always said amazing things about Mike. So, Mike, if you're watching, Berkeley alum right here,
We love you,
and I'm
brother.
a fan. So,
Yeah, so
okay, so
thanks for
I'm
the
sorry.
question on Ken. We really do appreciate it. And anytime you have questions regarding any of that, remember you can reach out to me via the Yamaha website. I know Ben's always available, or call the store
Absolutely.
directly if you got a store close to you and see what they've got hanging up. Because remember, this guitar is available, and nobody else stocks this, right? So Sam Ash makes them the coolest store for doing this.
Well, we appreciate the sentiment. Um,
Yay!
we didn't talk about basses, and I apologize for that. We've
Oh,
talked so much about acoustics. We've talked so much about
well,
electrics.
but before we finish
All for it.
and go on to basses, let's talk nylon string real quick.
Yeah, talk a little bit. I'll
Yeah,
go grab mine in the meantime.
Yeah, Yamaha's got
Excuse the pants, by the way.
a fantastic history of nylon string guitars. As I talked to you about 1958, 59, the first Yamaha guitar was actually a nylon string called the Dynamic. So what we do is now we do nylon strings from every price point and for every size. We do a half size and three-quarter size for the kids just coming into it. But we do nylon strings kind of along every price point and every feature set. The latest thing that we came out with just about a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago now, is the NCX and the NTX nylon strings. So what now we're going to do is we're going to give you a traditional depth nylon string with cutaway. We're going to put in a really nice preamp, built-in tuner, feedback reduction, and all of that, at a very, very reasonable price. Great sounding too, by the way. But we also do this in our thin line model, right? We make a thin line nylon string, which is very, very comfortable to sit with if you're not a traditional nylon string player. A lot of people don't realize that we make and sell a $10,000 nylon string. They make about 150 a year for worldwide distribution. It's handmade in Hamamatsu, Japan, and they're sold out about 2 years ahead of time, right?
Yeah, that's something that we should note.
Yeah.
That Yamaha, to their credit, is trying to pump out so much gear. Because remember, the entire world was basically shut down for a while, and even getting them back up after they were allowed took a moment. So Yamaha is making all of your favorite gear. So if we don't have it in stock, it is not because we don't want it. We love our friends at Yamaha. The only reason we don't have it is because they can't ship it out yet.
Yeah.
That's it.
So still getting through this mess. Factories are now back up to proper speed, so that's a good thing. But via shipping and trucking and all of that, everything is kind of delayed getting to stores. So thank you for your patience. But once again, Yamaha nylon strings are hold a special part in what we do because they take kids from the Sam Ash music studio and the lesson room to the college to the concert stage, right? So we can keep that customer as part of the Yamaha family. And the cool thing about Sam Ash is they've got a great selection of these things. Once again, starting from that entry level all the way on up to that concert level nylon string. But NCX available now, just sweet, right?
I gotta say, I was looking for a nylon string, and so I wanted something, and this is a true story, I'm not making this
Yeah,
up. I wanted
yeah,
an affordable nylon string because 'cause I'm not a serious nylon string player,
yeah,
so like most beginners, we get something affordable so we can learn. This is the C40. If you look it up on samash.com, it is
yeah.
very inexpensive, but I love this thing. I've been playing so much nylon string, like, I'm not gonna play anything because it's all copywritten, but just trust me that I can sort of play Classical Gas, and a few other tracks. So, it's great on this.
You got me beat. I can't play any of that fancy schmancy stuff. I just do my three chord and a cloud of dust uh, playing. But once again, everybody just kind of remember that we're gonna Yamaha Guitars and Sam Ash, right, as being our one of our best retail partners. We can get you and keep you in the Yamaha family of brands. We can get you lessons. We can get you graduating to the next instrument from one store and one company and one brand.
Yeah,
It's kind of a
it's
cool thing.
actually kinda wild. It's really
Yeah.
wild how much you guys have. Oh, I didn't mean to, sorry, I meant to click that link, but, I was gonna bring up the C40 on samash.com, which I can show you in just a moment, just to show you that it's this guitar, and I love it. Yeah, this is the, I think I'm looking at the, I don't know if it's the 2 or the N, but oh, never mind. It's this guy.
Yeah.
So, I will show you right now. This is what I'm playing. It's $159, and this thing is a monster.
What more do
There's
you
very
need?
few guitars that are $160 that feel this good and play this well. That's a fact. Usually if someone tells you they got you a guitar for $160, either someone ripped them off or it plays way less in quality than 160. This thing, if I told you it was $300 or $400, you'd probably be like, "Yeah, that makes sense. I get it. It's a nylon string." So it's and it plays great and it looks great.
Now
So,
I'm gonna
now where
use
my price
I'm
is.
gonna use a buzzword that I hate: vertical integration. But it's kind of what it is what we learn on those handmade custom shop pieces. A lot of that technology and those building techniques and the glues and the finishes, a lot of that comes down through the family, right? What is on that $10,000 nylon string comes down into that $159 guitar. So that's the great thing about being able to make instruments for every player at every price point is we could bring that high end build quality into that entry level price point.
Yeah, I just want to say, by the way, this is the only nylon guitars that I have, and I've never had one before, so I can safely say my first nylon string guitar was a Yamaha, and boy, do I love this thing. It's going to be. And look, if someone wants to try and persuade me with another nylon string guitar, if they're watching, I will not be opposed. But in the meantime, I love this thing.
Well, thanks for being such uh, you're a beautiful spokesmodel for us.
Oh, you
Can
flatter
I just
me.
say that to you? As we're winding things down, Ben, I know you talked about basses, and Sam Ash is once again a Yamaha premier bass dealer. You guys carry every when we have it for you. Don't go into a Sam Ash store and complain at them that they don't have it. You can call me and complain at me directly. But you
Thanks
guys
for
stock
saying
everything.
that.
You guys stock both families. You stock TRBX and you stock the BB series of basses. So let me show off the
Oh, dang.
BB 734A,
I love that matte finish.
the matte black finish, the matte black neck as well. Just dead sexy. There's our headstock. I'm sorry, trying to get in the camera for you. Big old Yamaha logo in your face. Look at that. Tattoo that on your forehead. But there's some things that you can't see that are actually under the paint that make this thing kind of cool. I think the price is $799. Look at a BB 734A. I think you guys are stocking.
By the way, I'm sorry, you said Yamaha tattoo, and I had to look that up,
Some
and
people have them, right?
I'm just making sure nothing is not is everything's safe for work here, but look at the
Look at
dedication,
that. Oh
and
my
if you look
God.
carefully, it's not necessarily Yamaha Motorworks, it's
No,
Yamaha music that a lot of these people have tattoos of. So,
that's
there's some
hardcore.
true love for the brand.
Wow. That's hardcore.
Yeah, I had to look real carefully to make sure this was safe for work.
You better get your Sam Ash tattoo real darn quick there, Ben. Before
Yeah,
Dad says something.
I don't think in my household that would be pretty frowned upon in my household.
I know, mine too. Hence why I stopped 30 years ago getting tattoos. The BB series, right, has been kind of on the price sheet since 1979 or 1980. The Billy Sheehan bass all started as a BB bass. But what we did about 3 years ago now is we revamped the entire line, starting from about a 299 price point all the way up into a custom shop Japanese model. But what we found out from that custom shop Japanese model has actually kind of through vertical integration come down into this thing. And you can't see a lot of it under the paint. This body is not a solid piece of wood. It is actually alder on one side, alder on this side, and then through the center bend is there's a layer of maple.
Interesting.
And what that does, it helps the resonance of the bass. It helps the string response, right? I'm trying to make a quick bass. I want that note to kind of jump out of the bass.
So it's a
Um,
maple alder sandwich of woods?
it's a sandwich of wood. 5-ply neck. You can't see it kind of under the flat black finish, but five
Right.
ply neck prevents the twisting, right? A lot of Single ply necks might twist heavy on the bass side, especially if you're putting heavier strings on there.
Right.
5 ply neck that we have will not do that. This also has this little magic switch of being able to go between active and passive.
Cool.
For your customers that might not know, for years, basses were what we called passive, right? It had a volume control and a tone control. The tone went from all bass to treble. That was it, right?
Right.
Um, Late 70s, right? Alembic, a lot of those companies started putting batteries in their basses. So, what a battery puts in a bass is gets you what they call active electronics. Now, when I turn the bass control, I can cut frequencies or I can boost just bass frequencies. Same with the mid range. Sorry. Same with the mid range and same with the treble. I can actually take each frequency and cut it out or add it. So rather than a sweep from bass to treble, I can take these separate frequencies and go from a little to a lot.
It's
So
in a
what
sense, it's like having an EQ for your bass.
exactly, but what it does for the bass player, it makes the bass player more versatile, especially if you're playing in a band that has a variety of tones, right? If you need to go from a Motown sound to a Rage Against the Machine sound,
Right.
and I would come see your band if you did that, all you got to do is take the switch and go from active to passive. So it's kind of cool that I get this ability to go between the two different sounds. The other thing we did, we strung it through the body. So the strings actually pass through the back of the body and then come up across the bridge. You can kind of see that there. And
Very
then
cool.
but don't tell Billy Sheehan because he'll get mad at us. The 6 bolts that Billy required for his bass, remember what he does with his bass, he bends that
Oh, by
neck.
the way, if you guys don't know who Billy Sheehan is and you're like, "Huh, I know bass, but what can you really do on a bass?" You're gonna go down a real long rabbit hole of how amazing he is on bass. He does things that electric guitar players can't do on guitars.
Exactly. Then thank you for that. He's one of the, I think, probably the most influential bassists maybe in the last 30 years or so. So
Without a
we're
doubt,
happy.
the Eddie Van Halen of bass.
And he's been with Yamaha for just about that long. So, and once again, he played Yamaha out of love for the product. But you see these 2 extra bolts here? What these 2 extra bolts do for you as a bass player is it takes the neck and pulls it as tightly as I can into the body of the bass. There's no air gap between the end of the neck and the end of the body pocket. Once again, I'm trying to get this thing to behave like it's a solid piece of wood.
So
So
it's more
having those two,
resonant.
exactly, having those 2 extra bolts does that. And that's kind of
Nice.
that cool Yamaha technology. That is the Yamaha BB734 in flat black, also in deep coffee sunburst. Very,
Cool.
very cool as well.
Yeah, so I mean, we're at the top of the hour. We're not gonna necessarily end the stream unless people have questions or they wanted us to cover anything in particular.
Wait, we can't leave yet.
No one's leaving, we're good.
Okay.
Right, Yamaha makes amps, and boy, are they great amps.
Did you guys know, and right, this is overtime. Did you guys know that Yamaha was the originator of the desktop amp
I
market?
actually didn't know that.
Yeah. 10 years ago, the first generation of THR amplifiers hit the market. Right? It looked a little bit different, but that was the thing. That was our collar with the metal handle. Now we're on to the second generation of product. And the cool thing about the second generation of product, rechargeable battery in the bottom. I've got most of them have line 6 wireless receiver built into the top.
Which is
Right?
very
So,
cool.
so if I got that G10 transmitter available at any Sam Ash close to you right now or on samash.com, I can plug that into my THR and be wireless. This has Bluetooth. This also has a brand new app called the THR Remote, which gives you kind of a deeper dive into the effects, right? So, as we all know, it's got chorus and flanger and delay and all that. But via the app, I can actually operate these effects more like a stomp box, right? I'm getting 4 to 5 knobs per effect, as opposed to just the one that's on the top of the amplifier. $299 to $499 depending on the model. There is now a THR-30 acoustic as well, right? It's for acoustic players. And we put an XLR in the top of that one. For singer-songwriter, you want to go buskier in the subways, like our buddy Gabriel Aldort is, and playing for the people down below. The THR-30 acoustic is the perfect name for that. So remember, we were the originators of this thing. Everybody else is just an imitator in some way, shape, or fashion. So Yamaha THR2 at Sam Ash.
So one thing that I would like to know, because one of the things about those amplifiers is they are great holiday gifts. And believe it or not, we're already in
Mm.
September, so holidays are coming up. And I'm going to say this, and I'm glad it's recording because if anyone doubts I said it, I've got video proof. If there is any product in here available, including those amps, including those basses, including those guitars, if there is anything available, I would highly recommend you buy it while it's in stock. Because as we get closer to the holidays, things will sell out. And unlike previous holiday seasons where it was no big deal, we can just get it ordered in ASAP. It's not a promise. Can't guarantee it. Again, not our fault, and Yamaha's trying their best.
And it's
So,
not just our industry, right? It's going to be kind of weird all across retail for the
yeah, I was about to
holidays. So
say, if you're looking to get anything for the holidays, you might as well start shopping now. Heck, I'm trying to do that myself. I need to get stuff from my wife in the holidays just to make sure I don't get yelled at come whenever the holidays are, because Hanukkah moves around all over the place. Christmas is always December 25th.
Ben,
Um,
do the stores offer layaway of any type?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Do your stores offer layaway?
Yes, but basically what I will say in a more simpler term is we will work with you for how you
Okay,
want to pay for
good,
something. We have
good.
you can pay in full, you can pay with the Sam Ash credit card, we have progressive leasing, we have a firm, we could do layaways. Point is if you are looking for a piece of gear, we can find a way for you to get it.
But do it
We don't
early,
want to make things difficult.
like Ben was saying, is get that shopping early, work that list. When I was on the retail floor in September, I felt that I was allowed to start dropping Christmas hints without people looking at me too weird,
Right. By the way, Ken,
right?
to address your question, I did get my wife a guitar once, and you know what it's doing now? It's hanging up as wall art because she does not play it. I guess there's only one guitarist in this household, but God bless her because she is a fantastically talented individual in her right. She's an actress, dancer, model. I wish I was making this up. It sounds like I have like, you know, that girlfriend at summer camp that lives in Canada. It seems like I'm doing something like that, but I'm very grateful who my wife is. And if you've ever met her, you would be like, oh yeah, Ben's not messing around. She's wonderful. Um, Now enough about my wife. I could talk about her for hours, and she would tell me to shut up anyway because she'd be like, "Oh, stop it! Oh, stop." But anyway,
We mentioned our big Gabriel Aldort, who is once again
yeah,
works on the East Coast. He's in and out of that Manhattan store once a week. A little bit of thing is the last Super Bowl, Gabriel's filmed down in the subway playing a Yamaha keyboard wearing a Sam Ash t-shirt.
dang right, yeah, and he looked
That's
damn good in it. Gotta say, I've never seen anyone rock that shirt better. And he is also, if you have the privilege, I know this sounds like a weird invitation, but if you have the privilege of going into the New York City subway system or the Long Island Railroad, not that anyone's ever invited to those places, but if you ever see an individual playing Yamaha keys, that's Gabe. If you're waiting for your train, it will be the best wait you've ever had for your train because he is a monster talent on the keys. Truly, just like a jukebox of sorts. And upon request, you could just say the most random song, and there's a good chance he knows how to play it.
His Mr. Entertainment that they absolutely love most. Once again, one of those guys that was playing Yamaha before we hired him, and he's
Yeah.
been with us for 15 years now. So yeah, we're very proud of what Gabriel does on the East Coast for us. But once again, there's that we kind of come back full circle to the story that we started with, Ben, about people play Yamaha because they love Yamaha, right? Is we're not throwing wild money at endorsees. We're not trying to get the latest teen sensation to play our stuff. People come to us and go, I made music with my product. you share it. So this
Although,
kind
let's
of,
be honest, if the next teen
yeah,
sensation did wanna be a Yamaha artist, I wouldn't doubt you guys would say, "Let's start working together."
if there was a little Ash in your future, we could bring them up,
Perhaps, perhaps. Not
perhaps.
in the cards right now, but I will
It's one of
definitely
those things
what
like, go ahead,
I don't wanna be the dad also who's like, "This is my talented son who tours more than he goes to school." But, hey, if
sure.
he helps bring in some income at a young age, I won't oppose it. I mean, nowadays, it's like, you see these kids like Nandy? I forget her last name, who
Andy
just rocked
Bushnell,
the stage
yeah.
with Foo Fighters.
Wasn't
She's
that
not even 10 years
fantastic?
old or something.
That's amazing. And if you've got a kid like that, kudos. If you're a parent,
Yeah, really.
love keep
Encourage
that kid
that.
on the path. Homework, chores, and practice, right? That's what we always tell kids when they're kind of getting started in the stores, is we say, this is going to be your life now. You got home, you got chores to do, and then you have practice to do. So, um, yeah, that was very, very cool. God, 10 years old, 11. What was I doing at 11? Little League? I wasn't playing
I
on
was
stage
holding
until
a
four.
Game Boy with no
Uh,
aspirations.
yeah, not playing on stage at the Forum for 18,000 people.
No, not at all. Funny, at that age, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's the thing that my dad just collects a lot of guitars," and so it was like, you don't wanna do what your dad does at that age. Some kids
No,
would I was like, "Ugh, dad stuff, collecting guitars." But now I'm like, "Oh, dad, you're getting another guitar that I may inherit one day? Yeah, you should consider it. Why not?
yes,
Go put that in
you
your
should buy
collection."
more. Exactly. So that's that thing about Yamaha, and we talked about a little about it, collecting that vintage Yamaha stuff from the 70s and 80s. Great guitars, very very affordable. So you want to start building a little Yamaha history in your house, like I have here, easy to do. And like I say,
I'm starting.
there's nothing in this room that's over $1,500. That maybe was back in the day, but we make a lot of guitar for not a lot of money. We respect your paycheck. We respect where you're at with your career, and that's why we all come back to Yamaha.
Yeah. So, Joe, I will say it's pretty awesome to be the son of Sammy, and not just because of the industry, he's just a great dad.
Yeah.
So, I'm just grateful he's a great dad regardless of what he does for a living. So, yes, I am very grateful that Sammy Ash is my dad. Um, and so I wanna make sure, I mean, like I said, we usually do these for an hour, but we'll do, like, a soft close at some point. I just wanna make sure we covered everything. We've talked about Yamaha.
I got my list here. History, the
Yeah,
company, the edition, Line 6 and Ampeg, right? Remember, Line 6 and Ampeg are now kind of parented by Yamaha. They're still
right.
separate companies, right? They're still separate entities under the Yamaha umbrella. So we talked about that. The perfect starter guitar. Talked about my long hair and bell bottoms FG75. We
Right.
showed you the A. We talked about Transacoustic, and we showed you that there's a little fancier version as well.
And that it's not insanely expensive. When you thought it was over a grand, it's actually $300 less than that.
Yeah, not expensive at all, and available in the nylon string and in the parlor guitar that we were playing blues on earlier. Um, Nylon strings. We talked about NCX and NTX. We showed you silent guitar, right? So we kind of showed you that technology and guitar merger. Electric basses. Oh, at your a few of the Sam Ash stores, you can buy the Japanese made BB bass. So the BBP, and the P is for professional, 34 for the four string, 35 for the five string, is
Right.
available at some Sam Ash stores and at samash.com because they're cool, right? Elite guitars, the Mike Stern, SA 2200. I think we covered it all.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
with that being said, I'm just gonna wrap it up in saying what I've learned, which is that not only does Sam Ash Music and Yamaha have a wonderful relationship we hope to continue for another 125 plus years, but also the fact that you're talking about a brand that has gained itself a reputation for quality, and that they, as we've seen with all the instruments we've talked about, that they put a lot of effort and care into it, not just to make a great product, but again, don't want to ruin the paycheck. We want you to still have some left over for straps and cases and whatnot, or just because you need to pay the kid mowing your lawn. And then you have cool, innovative technology like the Transacoustic, which is again Yamaha showing that they're innovative. We have
Solid gets.
and so what I've learned is that Yamaha, again, has everything you could hope for in variety. So in any price point, there's a myriad of things you can choose from. And depending on what you want out of an instrument, there's probably a Yamaha guitar for you. Whether you're, hey, big spender and you want to spend the most money on a nice guitar, there's a Yamaha. You want a nylon string, but you want to keep quiet in your house while you practice and play, there's a nylon silent string. Maybe you want an electric. I forgot to mention, it was addressed in the comments, but someone asked, and maybe you can.
Yeah,
By the way, thank you guys for all these comments. It's a good
that's
problem to have when I'm
fantastic.
actually trying to find a comment because there's so many. So, I will. I forgot who asked. I can't seem to find it. I don't want to spend the whole time doing it, but someone was asking what. Oh, there it is. Arnaldo asked, which Yamaha has a similar sound to a Les Paul? So I don't know if he meant what actually feels like a Les Paul, but at least
Yeah,
sound quality wise, what would you point them towards?
yeah, I would point you at anything in that Revstar family of guitars that has that humbucking pickup on it. So as long as I can get that humbucking pickup on there, I know that I'm getting extra signal to push the amplifier. Now on Revstar, remember that tone control. When I pull up on the tone control, I'm actually shaving off some bass frequencies, so I can get almost a single coil chime or chirp out of it. Push that switch back down, it becomes that Les Paul type sound again. So
Yeah, I've
anything in the
got
Revstar lineup with the humbucking pickups.
like I love my Pacifica because I actually, other than this, do not have a guitar with a P90 in it. And so besides that, there is a humbucking pickup in the bridge, and I tend to play. Most of my guitars are either hum single single where I have a bridge humbucking pickup.
Mhm.
This thing sounds like a monster. I can, if I didn't tell you I was playing a Yamaha, you wouldn't know because it has that really awesome pickup. I don't know what you guys are doing with the winding in that, but it's stellar. And so if you're looking for just a great humbucking tone, let alone a Les Paul, Yamaha's probably got it. But one thing I will say, and to keep it very simple, if you are even slightly doubting, does it feel good? Does it sound good? I heard it through the stream, but it was coming through a microphone, going through the internet, going out of my speakers. So I don't know if I can trust the sound. Come to Sam Ash Music. Just stop by, pick up an instrument, play it. Let us help you find the instrument for you. If you want to buy online, we won't oppose to that. But if you have a Sam Ash Music in your area, come by. We are still making sure everything is safe because we understand with the Delta variant, things are a little sketchy. So we are doing masks still. We are cleaning every single surface. We clean instruments before and after they're played. So if you want to have a safe experience trying out Yamaha gear, come by. We'll help you out. And we're happy to help you out. And
And
like
then
we
that's the
said,
best thing about your staff. And one thing, and then I'll shut up. The staff is so well trained from a sales aspect and from a customer service aspect. Unlike some of your competitors or other retailers, like there's some guys like at the Sam Ash Ontario Mills. There's guys that have been there for 10 years.
right.
They love what they do. They're not looking for the next thing. They're in this industry with intention, right? And that's I think is kind of what
And
that
I'm
Sam Ash
and
family is about.
if I can toot my own horn, I'm fourth generation. For those that are just joining us, I'm not just some random bald dude hosting this thing. I actually happen to be an Ash. I am part of the family. I'm not just some work for hire host for live streams. So I have somewhat of a responsibility to keep this company going along with my family because now I have two cousins, a brother, excuse me, three cousins. Forgive me, I'm like forgetting who's where, but I have three cousins and a brother who are now working in the company. And we are all doing our part to make sure that if hopefully we have a fifth generation and the company keeps going and we have this reputation and we become not only a part of history, but we aren't just history. We are the present. So I hope everyone who's watching this enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy your experiences with Sam Ash Music online or in store. If you are if you're not satisfied with something, let me know. Let us know in general. We want our company to be better than the day before. We want to be able to service you in any possible way and make sure you have the best retail experience in music possible. And so, on that note, thank you for watching and or shopping with Sam Ash Music. Andy, thank you for being a part of this and sharing with us not only all these interesting Yamaha facts, but also the wide breadth of instruments that one can buy. And I thank you to Yamaha in general for making this happen and all the live streams we do. And we hope to see you on another live stream, whether it's with Yamaha or somebody else. And we'll see you next time. Andy, thank you once again, man.
Thanks, Ben. Good seeing you. I'll talk to you soon, I hope. Okay.
Absolutely. Take care,
Thanks.
everybody.